is the time before we get right into things. If you haven't yet grabbed a strap or a housecoat tie or some kind of a tie, please do so. And then come to sitting any way that's comfortable for you. Sit cross-legged or with your legs out or on a chair, any way that you would like to sit. Make your arms comfortable. Lengthen your spine. And start to breathe. Breathe with generosity for yourself. With kindness and compassion for yourself. Forgiveness of any aspect of yourself that you feel has betrayed you. Next, I invite you to imagine that you've got a band. For anyone who's ever worn a bra, if you can imagine where the bra strap is, it's this band around the rib cage, around to the chest. Imagine you've got an elastic band there. We're going to do back breathing to begin today. We're imagining that band across that mid part of our back so that we can imagine bringing the breath in and expanding that elastic band. So let's take a couple of breaths here. Big breath in, imagine bringing it into that middle back area. Expanding your rib cage, expanding across the shoulder blades, and then letting it all out. Several times, just at your own pace. Directing each breath to expand your middle back area of that band. Breathe out all the way each time. Let's continue that back breathing as we take thumb into hand. Inhale and raise. Leave your shoulders low as you breathe out all the way. Second breath here. Hands together. 2 breaths of back breathing. Hands up, and then behind the neck or in front of your neck, your choice. 2 breathing into the back. Full extension as you breathe in. Slow hands to your heart as you breathe out. And let this next breath be expansive. So it's back breathing as we've been doing, but includes the heart space. Now just take a moment to reflect on that. Were you aware of any thoughts that popped in without you being able to control them, that were not as kind and loving to yourself as they could be? So I'll just remind you that anytime you notice that happening in this class, we are shifting, because it's a heart chakra class, we're shifting to full self-compassion, full self-acceptance, full self-acknowledgement and love today. So if you catch your mind giving you a different message, just bring it back. Bring the compassion and that self-love back today. If you're not comfortable sitting, you're welcome to stand. I'm going to extend the arms to be long now, either back of the wrists on the knees or hands on the mat beside you. And let one ear lift towards the sky. And again, we're taking 2 big breaths, expanding that space across the middle back. You might feel your ribs as you do this. Of course, we're hoping to get a little release through the neck. And over to the other side when you're ready. 2 big breaths, back breathing. Let's do each side again. Give our necks even more chance to let go. The other side when you're ready. Once your head is back at center, we'll turn to look at the side wall. Keep the back of the neck nice and long and continue to use the back breathing. 2 breaths. Breathing fully out each time. And over to the other side. Once your head is back at center, tuck your chin towards your chest. Here we get to look down at ourselves again with the most empathy, the most kindness, the most appreciation for 3 big breaths using back breathing still. Walk your eyes across the floor. up the opposite wall, across the ceiling, just as far as your eyes want to take you. Open your mouth and breathe here. Walk the eyes back until your chin is on or close to your chest. Again for 2 breaths. Make sure any thoughts that arise are ones that are loving. Then let your head float forward. And we're going to transition to standing right here. Any way you'd like to do that. We don't need too much grip just yet. So if your feet are still chilly, you can keep your socks on for another couple of poses. Excellent. We have been working, as we work with the chakras, we started with the root chakra, which is all about grounding. And so if you can find the 4 corners of each foot, put a little attention there, root through the 4 corners of each foot, keeping the feet hip width apart. Keep the knees gently bent. If that doesn't resonate for you, if you don't know what I'm talking about at any point, it doesn't matter. All we're doing is standing. And I'd like to invite you to approach your yoga practice today believing that you are doing everything perfectly. So no matter how you take on a pose, it is the right way for you and the perfect way to be doing it today. Stand, knees bent. Let's do a little shoulder roll. And notice that we get a little movement through the middle back when we do these big shoulder rolls. Change direction, roll them towards the front. Just breathe as you need to. And notice what's there. Are you aware of any places that are a little bit stuck or sore? No judgment. That's just how they are today. Drop your shoulders down. So we're standing tall now from our rooted feet all the way through the crown of the head, our tallest version of ourselves. We're going to see if we can lengthen our spine even further by raising our arms up. You're not going to be able to see me in the camera, so I'm going to describe it well with my voice. I'd like you to take one hand and grab onto the wrist of your other arm and then pull so that we get a gentle side stretch here. Your one hand is pulling on your other wrist, causing an expansion through your rib cage, maybe into your shoulders or your armpit. Hold for a couple of big breaths. Maybe back breathing if you like that. Come back to center. Take the other hand onto the other wrist and pull the other direction. Big long shape here. We're making more room for the area around the heart as we breathe. Come back to center and just let go of those arms, of the energy. Send right out of them. Keeping the feet hip width, keeping your feet grounding you. Stand tall again. Take a big breath here. This is mountain pose. And drop your chin on or close to your chest. And let's do a forward release where we're really slowly, one vertebra at a time, starting to roll our spines down. Essentially, this pose is just us trying to touch our toes. However, if we go slowly, we can pay attention to the areas of the back that need a little care. So going one vertebra at a time, breathing to notice how that part of the body is. If it's tight, just stay there. Take some more breaths into that part of the spine as it opens up. Once it's open, you can roll down a little further. Now, sometimes we've had back injuries or difficulties where the back doesn't like this kind of a shape. If that's the case, just stay up tall and do a neck roll instead. So you're always choosing what works for you. If it's feeling okay, we're continuing our roll down really slowly, bringing care and breath and healing to any tight spots. Now, eventually, some of you might get to the place where your fingers are touching the ground. If that's the case, hold each hand at the elbow, pardon me, so that the spine can dangle even longer. And then try straightening one leg. Get a stretch through the back of the leg there. Then bend both your knees. And if you liked that, start straightening the other leg. We're going to do each leg again, as long as that felt okay for you. Release your arms, contract your core, so squeeze through your kegel, hug your low abdominals towards your spine, and keep your core strong as it helps you to rise up. Breathe as you need to. My head is the last part of you to float forward. Good. And then shake everything out that's left over there. Grab a sip of water that's close by. And let's equalize that move. Make an empty fist. Flat part of the fist into the low back on both sides. Bring your elbows as close together as they will naturally come. Keep your heart space and your chest wide open here. And let your eyes walk up to look above you. Open your mouth and breathe. Shine out from your big, beautiful heart. Walk those eyes back. And shake out your arms. Excellent. Good. We're going to come right down onto hands and knees here. And we are going to need some grip. So this is the time to use the socks to be more grippy. And to make sure that your knees are comfortable. So if you need to put a little extra mat, or roll up your socks that you're taking off and put them underneath each knee for a little extra cushion. Do what you need to do. We've got the hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. And we're starting with the cat-cow. So just like our forward release, we have a chance to check in with the spine. How's it feeling? Just go at your own pace. rounding, a little arching. And see if you can synchronize it with your breathing. So you're moving one direction as you breathe in, the other direction as you breathe out. And notice your heart space here. See if you can bring the breath in and out, to and from the heart. Next, I invite you to come down onto your forearms. So interlace your fingers together and plant your elbows a little closer together than you think they should be. Maybe slightly closer than shoulder width with the elbows. We're going to go into a dolphin pose, which is essentially a downward dog, but with the hands in this position. Now, if at any point this doesn't feel right for you, if it's too much intensity or not your thing, your alternate is to do what we've been doing with downward dog and simply stretch out one leg, anchoring your toes to the floor, pressing your heel away from you. And give that a try now. It feels good no matter what. So that's your alternate if you prefer it. Or curl your toes, keep your arms anchored here, forearms on the ground, and send your hips up high. You might have to play a little bit with the placement of the feet. Where would you like the feet to be? How close or far would you like them from your nose? Take a few moments just to get used to the sensation. We don't do this pose very often, so it might feel a little odd at first. You've got a lot of pressure coming down onto your forearms. The head should be dangling, nice long back of the neck area. Maybe you press each heel towards the floor as you lengthen the legs. And then as you get a little more used to it, see if you can push your hips even further back. And now focus on opening through your heart. So we're here in an odd shape for our bodies. Can you be really long through the back of your shoulders as you push your hips back? Feel this long line from your shoulders down your back, allowing softness and opening to the front body. Breathe to help you. Now bring those knees down gently and settle yourself back into pose of child. Your hips come onto your heels. We start by lengthening our arms way in front of us for a couple of breaths. Opening big through the heart space. And then place your hands wherever you are most comfortable with them. Could be hands under the head or hands by the feet. And let's do 5 restoring breaths here. And when that feels complete for you, round yourself back up. Excellent. We're going to transition back to standing. So take a moment. We've been way down. We're going to let the blood come back so that the head will be okay without any dizziness. And as you're ready, come back to standing. Now let's do some big warrior shapes to open ourselves up. So I'm going to start with the foot pointed out at the short end of the mat. Runner's pose is what we usually call this. So we've got both our legs and feet are pointing forward. We're settling down here so that we get a nice stretch in the hip flexor. Let's reach forward with our hands, drop our shoulders down, take a couple of breaths. Now we're going to plant our back foot at that 45-degree angle that allows us to change to warrior. So put your heel down on the back foot. You might have to change the distance between your feet to be more comfortable. So we've got the foot with the knee bent is still pointed out at the short end of the mat. The other foot is now anchored, all four corners of the foot down and at 45 degrees. I'm going to bend the knee and open those arms into warrior. Drop your shoulders down. Look past your side fingers for 3 big breaths as you keep bending to the knee. Can you do this with more open a heart? Remembering that however you've engaged in this pose is the perfect way for today. Good. Now we're going to do a little, remember when you were a kid and you used to do cartwheels and there was a nice pivoting action of the arms? We're not going to do a cartwheel, but we are going to do the arm part. So you've got the arm that's far out over the straight leg. It's going to swing above you, come towards the other arm, and both hands down onto the ground. Turn all your toes to face forward again. Find the right distance between your feet. And I invite you to really spread wide across your shoulder blades. So bring up the top of your head, or the back of your head, as I should have said. Imagine that the head is in line with the spine. So you're not gazing forward. Keep your neck and head in line with spine. For 3 big breaths to widen across the mid-back. As you do, settle into the pose or play with it a little bit. If you like to rock back and forth or find the right amount here, let's get deeply into the hips. Bring your back knee down, and you're welcome to put it onto a folded mat or extra cushion. Point your back toes. Scoot your front toes forward if that feels better. Find an opening for your inner thighs and hips here. And again, lots of breath to widen that area of the back breathing. Walk your fingers back, allowing your front leg to stretch out. Get an opportunity to stretch the hamstring here. Attempt to have your hips aligned with each other. However, remember that whatever way you've done it is the perfect way for today. Point your toes towards the mat if that feels right. Take a breath. Flex the foot and breathe. Again, point toes, back breathing. And flex. And change to standing so that we can do the other side. One way to do that is to bring both your knees together, to curl your toes so that you can simply bring yourself to standing from there. We're going the other way, other leg. Runner stretch. Front knee bent, back leg straight, all toes point forward. And if it's okay for you, up on the toes and the ball of the foot with the back foot. Reaching forward, dropping shoulders, 3 breaths. Feel expansive across the middle back. Then put the back foot down at that 45-degree angle. So now the 4 corners of the back foot are in contact with the floor. We're bending the knee of the other foot a little bit more, opening up our arms, dropping shoulders, look past fingers. How open can your heart be as you breathe here? Here comes that cartwheel. The hand that's over the long straight leg swivels above you and keeps coming around to meet the other hand so they can both come down to the floor. Turn all your toes to face forward. Find the right stretch for you, the distance between your feet. And again, let's stay expansive across the middle back. 3 big breaths. Bring the back knee down. Any amount of cushion there is good to have. Point the back toe. Scoot the front toes forward if that feels right for your body. And more back breathing. Bringing softness around the heart space. Remember, you're doing this perfectly, exactly as you are. Start to walk your fingers back, lengthening your front leg. Find the right amount of hip alignment for you. And point your toes towards the mat. Bring breath to expand across your middle back. Flex the foot. Pointing. And we're breathing out fully each time. And flex. Beautiful. Come to lying on your stomach, please. Don't forget, grab a little sip of water. You don't want a big one before you lay on your belly. So all of these poses where we lie on our front are made a little more challenging if you've had a big breakfast or a big meal recently. So a little bit better done on an empty stomach. However, you did the perfect thing today. So whatever you ate before you got here was just right, and will make these poses go just right for you. Place your hands snug up right up close beside your chest. Rest your head on your chin. Rock your hips so that you're letting go of any tension in the hips and low back. And just hold here for a breath. Really allowing a release through the low back and hips. We're not going to use them for this pose, they get a little holiday. We are going to use the arms, so prepare the arms to push your chin and chest off the ground. Just a small movement, doesn't have to be big. And slowly bring them back down. I'm going to do this 6 times, using just hands and arm strength to bring yourself slowly up and slowly down. Imagine lengthening through your low back each time you go up. Excellent. Touch your chin, touch your forehead down to release the back of your neck, and rest your arms by your sides now. Again, rock your hips up, make sure that we didn't lose them. Now we will use the core. So this time, press your pubic bone into the floor. Squeeze your kegel, squeeze your low abdominals up towards your spine. Lift both your legs off the ground if possible, and start to lift your chin, your chest, reach down with your arms, aiming to open the heart today. How much freedom can we allow around the heart area? We're breathing as we hold here. Notice how this is for you. And then very slowly, with control, bring it back down. Okay, you did that perfectly, just exactly right. Touch your chin, touch your forehead, and rest now down on each cheek. Let everything go. We are going to put those last 2 poses together. So this is only for those of you who feel good in your low back today. If any of what we just did felt like a strain or a little worrisome for your back, then I invite you to skip it. You can do any of the poses that you know are good for your back. If those last 2 poses felt fine, then we're going to bring the hands together underneath the shoulders, elbows tucked pretty close to the body. And we're going to put these 2 poses together in a little bit of a unique way for most heart extensiveness. Starting with the head resting on the chin. Use the strength of your core. So press your pubic bone into the ground. Use the strength of your core, not your hands yet, to lift your chin and chest up. So the heart is now off the ground. Allowing some space there for the heart. Now engage the arms to push yourself a little higher. Not much, but get a little more open. So we've engaged in a back bend here. Take some big breaths. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears. Feel big and beautiful through your heart. And let your hands bring you down. Engage your core. So the core is helping to bring you down out of this slowly. Touch your chin, touch your forehead, and rest everything. And again, check in with your low back. So as long as that felt okay, we're going to do yet one more pose. Back bends are wonderful heart openers as long as they feel okay in your back. And again, if that's not right for you, then go into any other pose that you know that is good for you, your back, or simply rest. Those who are engaging in one more, you're going to bend both your knees. And here's where, if you've got that strap, so either you can grab your legs and that's pretty okay for you. Or you can grab your pants, and that's a fine reach for you. Or you've got that strap close by, and you can put that strap around your leg, essentially making the length of your arm longer. So let's get yourself set up, grabbing foot, pants, or strap. Imagine that your knees are hip width apart. Start with the weight of the head on the chin. And just like we did before, press your pubic bone into the ground. It's a little harder to do with the knees bent. Engage your core and start to lift your knees off the floor. Now bring your head and chest off the ground and let your feet pull your arms straighter. So as your feet pull back towards the back wall, your arms straighten, your heart opens, your shoulders get a stretch, and let's breathe. One more big breath. And gently bring that down. Let go of the legs, touch your chin, touch your forehead, and push yourself into a pose of child so that we're making the opposite shape with our backs now. Instead of a back bend, it's a back rounding. Find your favorite pose of child for 3 restoring breaths. Round yourself back up. Grab a sip of water and your strap. We're going to work with the legs a little bit, laying on our backs. If you've got a mat bag, that also can act as a strap. Hopefully you found even a towel. Anything can act as a strap here. Lie on your back. Take a moment, get really comfortable on the floor. Bring your shoulders way down your body. Feel your shoulder blades against the ground. Keep your knees up, with your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Notice how your low back is feeling now that we've done some of those back bends. And take the strap around the bottom of one foot and start to stretch that heel up towards the sky. So it causes our foot to be in a flexed position, pushing our heels skyward for 5 big breaths. Now you know what's right for you. We're trying to get a good deep stretch for the back of the leg without it straining into pain. So we're looking for the edge. Where's that edge between good, deep, helpful, healing stretch, but not painful? So for you, that might mean going further out. Instead of towards the ceiling, you're pressing more towards the opposite wall. It might mean keeping a slight bend in your knee, or changing how long the strap is or where you put your hands on the strap to change the intensity. Now we're going to take the same leg that's in the strap and open it up to the side. And again, you choose the right amount for you. You're finding your edge. Deep stretch, but not pain. Got 4 more breaths here. And are you able to shift where your arms are holding so that we create openness for the heart as we do this? One more more good breath. Keep the same foot in the same strap, but pull it across the body to the other side. So here, I invite you to change hands so that, for me, I've got my right foot up. I've now got my left hand grabbing the strap as it pulls across the body. I'm releasing the other leg to the floor to make more space. And I'm releasing my opposite arm to the floor for a little counterweight. So if possible, we're trying to keep openness through the heart by keeping both shoulder blades on the ground. However, whatever pose you found yourself in just now is the exact right one. Bring it on back up so that we can change legs. Take your other foot into the strap. And same as last time, pushing our heel towards maybe the opposite wall, maybe the sky, and looking for the edge on this side. Where is this? A deep stretch, but not painful. And breathe. Is there anything you can do to create more openness around the heart? Take that foot open to the side. I've got the wall in my way, but that actually offers a nice place for me to anchor your foot and still get a deep stretch. So if you've got furniture that you're bumping into, maybe you can use it. And some big breathing. Some awareness of the shoulder blades, awareness of the heart. And let's bring that foot across the body to the other side. So I'm changing hands. My opposite hand is grabbing the opposite leg as it pulls across. My leg with the knee bent is getting out of the way. So I can pull all the way across the body, attempting to have shoulder blades on the floor and openness through the heart. Big breath. One more. Bend that knee, remove the strap, and get ready for Shavasana. If you're enjoying lying down, then get as comfortable as you can lying on the floor. If you prefer to do a more meditative position, you can change to sitting if you like. Please come to meditate with us today. So I invite you to get as comfortable as you possibly can, whatever position you've chosen. Bring your shoulders low down your body. Make lots of space between your ears and your shoulders. Feel the ground supporting you. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. And take a couple of easy breaths. I invite you to focus on the space between your top lip and your nostrils, your upper lip area. Notice if you can feel the breath entering or exiting there. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. On your next breath, when you're ready, follow the passage of air in through your nostrils and starting to move down your airway towards your lungs. And then follow the passage of air out. Let's do that a couple of times. Noticing the air in the nostrils, down the airway towards the lungs, and out again. Continue breathing comfortably. And when you're ready for your next breath, remember that the lungs fill up downward. So on your next breath, follow the passageway of air in the nostrils, down the airway, filling the lungs up downward. And then follow the air back out again. A couple of breaths like that. Next, I invite you to imagine that you have wings attached to your shoulder blades. And these wings fold open and then fold closed. They can be any color, any shape, any material. They can fold up in and out any way that you imagine. And on your next breath, follow the air in through the nostrils, down the airway, and simultaneously, as your lungs fill up downward, start to expand the wings out from your shoulder blades, pulling that area of the middle back and shoulder blades wider, broader. And then the wings can stay out if you like. They can hold you spacious and open even as you breathe out again. Let's breathe that way a couple of times. Following the air in through the nostrils, filling the lungs up downwards as you expand across the mid-back, shoulder blades, wings pulling open for you. And follow the air out again. Let's do that silently for the next minute. And as you lay there or sit there, with the spaciousness we've created for the heart and the lungs and the back. I invite you to remember that you are perfect as you are. Everything about you is enough. You are loving and you are loved. Your authentic, true self is exactly who you are supposed to be. And take another couple of breaths there. And then decide if you'd like to fold up your wings and tuck them in for later. If you'd just like to let go of that imagery. And now take 3 deeper breaths. Maybe starting to move a little bit. Welcome to stay exactly as you are and continue your own yoga practice. Remember, it'll be the perfect one. Or if you'd like to close with me, find your way back to sitting. Just notice if we've been able to create any sense of openness around your heart. Feel your sitting bones connecting you to the ground. Feel your core supporting you to sit tall. Feel the back of the neck long. Shoulders released, neck comfortable. And feel how easy the breath is now that we've worked with it. And use 2 easy breaths per position. So take thumb into hand. Inhale and raise. Continue to breathe out fully each time. Hands behind or in front of the neck. Full extension as you breathe in. Observe your hands as they slowly descend towards your heart. Breathing out. Anchor your thumbs close to your sternum and feel the expansion of the heart space on this last breath. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. You did that class exactly the way you were supposed to do it. You just completely nailed it. Go and do everything right for the whole rest of the day because you can't help it. That's how great you are.